Lines of equal pressure, or isobars as we call them, and when they get very close together like this, that's a signal to us as forecasters that we could see some strong winds. So we're primarily dry for this evening, might need that umbrella if you're out later tonight. We already have our eyes on something that is brewing in the Gulf of Mexico. We have blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories stretched across the northern plains. Tornado watches, they're usually issued hours in advance. They come from the Storm Prediction Center, and that means the conditions outside are potentially favorable for tornado development. This car has been sitting out in the parking lot during the freezing drizzle, and I can't even get the ice off the windshield. But when we think about it, much of the Midwest is colder than Alaska this morning.
Lots to talk about in weather.
We do. We are just zeroing in on the rain that will impact us this morning. I just saw a cloud truck get towed away. So if that is not any indication to what we're dealing with here, I don't know what is. This is the day where you are going to want to monitor the forecast maybe a little more than you usually do. Missouri is being pinched between two weather patterns at the moment. A low pressure system that is in Arkansas swirling some showers up towards us. Then another low pressure system that's all the way up in Minnesota, but its trailing cold front is giving some showers to Nebraska right now, and that will be moving towards us. That strong spring storm system we have been talking about all week is here impacting us right now and is still strengthening even as some cooler air wraps around that low pressure center. But zooming in closer to home, I'm keeping my eye on this one band of showers that developed ahead of that initial front line. On a sunny summer day in a building like this, you physically need something to separate the warmer and the cooler air. And that was sunlight. Sunlight shining through the eastern windows and the western windows, heating up the air, allowing warmer air to rise and cooler air to sink.
Good morning. How are you, Elyse?
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm actually having a pretty great start to the morning, and I'd like to thank both of you for joining me in wearing some navy, some bear blue this morning.
It was planned, I'm sure.
Our Chicago Bears fan is speaking now.
Yes, we got a big bear down yesterday with a win against the Rams. And of course, the strong winds that we are also going to see again today.
Thank you for that slice of knowledge.
Yes.
Yes, many numbers. She could just be reading it on and on.
3.141592653589793233846264.
We'll be back. Our time is 4:55.
Elyse Smith is your authority on the weather.
With the dry, mild temperatures and sunshine we're going to see for the rest of the afternoon, today really is the perfect day to take care of your lawn, maybe cut the grass, do some yard work, since maybe that rain and cloud cover and cooler temperatures this week might have prevented you from doing so. And especially since we do have more rain in the forecast, not only for tomorrow, but at quick glance also into the next work week. And today we'll see that strong northerly breeze. Tomorrow that breeze will be even stronger. Out of the south though, at about 10 to 15 miles per hour with wind gusts up to 35. So that trash can wind meter for tomorrow marked at a 2. And that's all with this next weather system that is developing right now. A low pressure system will move in from the northwest. It will bring a lifting warm front, and with that warm front, that is our rainmaker and potential storm maker for tomorrow morning. The trailing cold front will move through later on in the day, and it will give us the chance for a spot shower, but more so open the door to this high pressure system, giving us a cooler end to the weekend. So here's Futurecast to time out those showers. Clouds will build overnight. Can't rule out a spot shower before sunrise tomorrow, but the main event arrives through the morning. There's that warm front tracking from west to east, with it showers, potentially a storm or two. Then we're going to see some dry time tomorrow afternoon and some sunshine before the cold front of that weather system sweeps through, and it's not a very strong one in the sense of that rain, at least for us. It picks up steam once it moves further to the east, and then clouds will filter in after that for a little bit of a cloudy Sunday. But after the rain tomorrow morning, it is going to warm up. We'll be in the lower 70s. Then we're cooling down with that cold front for Sunday. Sunday morning, watch out, because it'll be near 40 degrees, potentially in the upper 30s. And then we're only making it into the mid 60s for Sunday. Today, though, it's a sunny day, seasonal temperatures, a little bit of a stronger northerly breeze with high temperatures reaching the upper 60s. Then for tonight, cooling down to near 50, and as clouds build, we'll see that rain return for tomorrow morning. Again, could see a couple of storms too, but not bad temperature-wise. We'll be in the lower 70s. Then for Sunday, a little bit cooler with mild and warm weather, staying put for next week with a few more chances for rain. And when we think about what's contributed to shaping our local history, we think of people, places, and technology. But weather can have more of a role on that history than you might think. I got a unique look on how the weather impacted the operation of the Missouri State Penitentiary in this special report. It's known as the bloodiest 47 acres in America, one of the largest prisons west of the Mississippi. Once home to 4,900 inmates, the Missouri State Penitentiary has weathered mid-Missouri's hot summers, bitter winters, and severe storms. Michael Gruss served as the final warden here for 32 years. Now he's a tour guide, walking the same cell blocks he did until 2004.
In the early days, there were simply no utilities. There was no air conditioning, there was no electricity, and there was no plumbing, there was no heat systems, and so they were really subject to the conditions of living almost outdoors.
Gruss explained that the rock the housing is made of provided no relief from the changing conditions. On a sunny summer day, in a building like this, you physically need something to separate the warmer and the cooler air. And that was sunlight. Sunlight shining through the eastern windows and the western windows, heating up the air, allowing warmer air to rise and cooler air to sink. But there was a way for inmates to control the temperature of their cells by using paint to make temporary heat curtains.
If you had a window in your cell that was facing the west, for example, you would paint that window in the summer so that the sun didn't shine in and heat up your cell. And then what they would do is scrape the same paint off in the fall and let that afternoon sun come in and heat their cells.
Though the summer heat was unbearable at times, it was not potentially deadly like the winter months. The then inmates worked hard building the prison in those conditions.
There had to be weather-related deaths to the winter when they're not able to warm up. These people worked in a rock quarry building this penitentiary, and say it's January and 15 degrees outside and they work several hours in the cold, if that were you coming home, you would go into the nearest heat register or heat source. They had none here.
But as time went on, more modern accommodations were introduced to help those living inside.
We built our own ice plant here, and we let them have almost an unlimited supply of ice. In each housing unit, we have a couple ice machines like this, and then we ran a route several times a day to make sure these were kept full of ice all the time. So every inmate in the prison during weather like this that's just almost unbearable without any kind of air conditioning or air movement, they were able to at least have all the ice that they wanted.
And while we were able to learn about the impacts of the heat and the cold for daily life, we couldn't leave without asking Michael one last question. So did the Missouri State Penitentiary have a severe weather plan?
Well, we have a lot of different configurations for prisons around the state. In this particular case, these are 1800s buildings built out of huge stone blocks. It'd take a tank to knock one of them down. So our weather plan basically is to stay in the housing units.
And with that, Gruss says the penitentiary will be able to weather the storm for years to come. In Jefferson City, meteorologist Elyse Smith, KRCG 13.